You're live. Let's wait a few minutes. See if anyone comes in. How dark my hair looks. Jeez.
I look like I'm scared.
Come on, people. Hey. Hi.
You talking to me?
No, look. There's a person in here. Gonna wait a few minutes
Gonna
see if
talk
anyone
about
to see if anyone comes in.
Gonna talk about the Murdaugh case.
Yep. I got a friend with me tonight. So. And I'm not doing makeup right now, so that's good.
I did mine.
Yeah, he did his. Looks good, huh? Come on, people. Come on in. Hey, hi. Hi, Julie.
Hello.
How are you?
Have you been following the Murdaugh case?
I think everyone's probably following the Murdaugh
I
case.
think a lot of people are.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy case, isn't it? She said she is.
Good. Well, we've got somebody that's interested. We can start talking.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're gonna go ahead and start talking. Okay. You want to go first?
Sure. This is going to be informal. We want to get people's opinions because everybody's got one. Truth Seeker, what do you make of Alex's mother's caregiver's testimony?
Well, for one, I think it was a little rehearsed, you know. The way she remembered, like, what he was wearing, for one. How could you remember way back when what somebody was wearing, right?
Right, like we talked about. You didn't remember what I wore yesterday.
Mm-mm.
I didn't remember what you wore.
No. What else about her testimony?
Well, remember the one time when she said, I don't read, and got that far. And then she answered the question like she remembered.
Right. Look at what she said. I only know of the case. I would love to know the backstory on him. Okay, we're gonna get to that actually. Do you wanna
Well, actually, I don't know how far you want to go back, but Alex Murdaugh, he was basically born into a very privileged family. His great grandfather was a prosecutor and a solicitor, which is a judge or like a county judge, as well as his father was a prosecutor. So he came from a very wealthy family, and obviously with the testimony stuff, he's got much more, a lot greedier. But he came from a good family. They're well thought of in their county. People love them. He married Maggie, who he went to school with. They had two children. He joined the law practice, which was actually started by his grandfather, and then his father took over. Had the world by the tail, making buku of bucks. Did a lot of entertaining at the ranch. Everybody loved the family, said they were the perfect family. In fact, Paul, who was murdered, one of the friends of Paul said that Alex and Paul were best friends. So in public, they painted a really good picture. People that know them real well said that they were a very loving, caring family, um, but things might have been a little bit different behind closed doors.
Yeah. So everything really started. The chaos really started whenever whenever Paul had the boat accident. That's when it really started getting crazy, you could say, right?
Yeah, that's when things come to light what was going on
Yeah.
with their personal life and finances.
Yeah.
The testimony has been really interesting, and as we were talking earlier the other night when I was on, I was talking about how many people were are convicting the guy, and I was kind of one of those people that was really skeptical until I heard more testimony. And
Do you want to scoot over a little bit more
sure.
so you can be in the light?
And in my opinion, now what my take on it is, um, he's probably not so clean. He's probably the evidence is really stacking up
Yeah.
against him, and there's been a lot of interesting testimony, but I think that the interesting testimony was, with the caregiver. I think it was. I think it was convincing, but yet, like you said, a little on the rehearse side.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Um, the murders. Okay. What is the theory? You know, what is your theory?
My theory
Your
about the
theory
murders?
of the motive
Okay.
of the motive.
The motive. The motive, I mean, I would think that the motive would be not to be exposed, you know. Um, he was going to be exposed, like we talked about.
Right.
Um, his wife, she she hired her own, what
Her
was
own
it?
CPA.
Yeah, CPA. And everything was going to be exposed by Maggie, you know. How much millions did he steal from everybody?
They're saying he stole $8.8 million
Yeah.
in settlement payments from clients,
Hmm.
$7 million from his law firm, and owed $487,000 in state income tax.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot. And Maggie was going to get to the I mean, she knew something was going on. She knew he was up to something. And I mean, we discussed earlier the text message. Do you want
Yeah,
to go ahead and talk about that or not?
yeah, sure.
Do you want
The text message, and this is, I heard two attorneys talking about this. Evidently, this was in the discovery that Maggie had sent when Alex had called or text Maggie and wanted Maggie to come out to the ranch or the farm, whatever you call it, to spend the night, and then wanted her to go with him to see his father the next day. She sent a text message to a friend of hers and said, Alex wants me to come out and spend the night and go with him to see his father. I think he's up to something.
So she thought he was up to something. I mean, that right there so shows that she was curious, you know, about what he was doing, you know.
Yeah, and
So,
there was problems. There's trouble in paradise because um, Maggie liked staying at the beach house, but she loved the farm. And supposedly she's been staying at the beach house for some time, not at the ranch with Alex.
yeah, she wasn't staying with Alex. She was staying at the beach house. So, I mean, obviously something was going on with that, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah. What else we got here?
well, we've covered a lot already.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of bombshells. Um, yeah, I think the prosecution will bring a lot more in. Today was really a gotcha time, and I mean they don't have to bring everything in. They put in discovery, Uh, but with their case, because so much of it is circumstantial, um, to this point, they're probably going to throw all the bombs at him.
Yeah.
And, like they've allowed all his financial schemes. The judge ruled that that's admissible. And, yeah, they do look sloppy. You're right. But the judge handed the prosecution a silver platter when they said, okay, you can bring in his financial problems, embezzlement of over $15 million. So it's painting a picture of him as a bad guy, as a thief.
Right.
Doesn't necessarily mean he's a murderer, but more of the stuff coming in is pointing that it's kind of hard to deny that he isn't the trigger man or involved in it. Um, so it's going to be really interesting to see how the jury looks at that. Um, Again, that doesn't make him a murderer, but
Right.
we talked earlier. We were speculating back and forth, and it's to motive.
Yeah.
And you want to pick up there?
The motive?
Yeah.
The motive, I would say, would be him not being exposed, right?
Hmm.
I mean, it's that simple. He didn't want to be exposed because, I mean, if you start digging a little bit, you're gonna find a lot on him. I mean, it's like right here, testifying 8.8 million settlement money, 7.0 million for the law firm. I mean, all this is gonna come up eventually, and Maggie was gonna expose it, is what we think.
Earlier we talked about not just theory, but we also talked about in those last moments
Hmm.
um, of Paul and Maggie's life. First of all, these murders were what they call a crime of passion. They were overkill.
Right,
Paul was shot in the head with a shotgun.
right.
Literally his head was blown off.
Hmm.
Maggie was shot, they say, 5 times in the head. So that's
Oh,
crimes of passion.
yeah.
Okay.
Overkill.
Overkill.
Yes.
Really overkill. But you were talking about earlier about those moments when this murder was going on.
Hmm.
You were talking about what you thought based on the evidence and everything you heard. What happened those final few
Well,
moments?
I mean, not seen, but what I think of is like her being like really frightened. She just sees her child, murdered, in front of her face, and she's running, from her husband, and she's running back and forth from the machinery. You can see her footsteps. Um, she's trying to get away from him, her husband.
Her husband or whoever did this.
Yeah, whoever did this. You're not you're not gonna say it. What?
Well, I'm not going to say it yet. Oh yeah, he has destroyed
Oh God, yeah.
uh, so many people.
Yeah.
But one thing too and I am not a fan of lawyers, and I've got cousins who are lawyers, um, and I love them. But anyway, what I really give this uh, law firm credit for, I mean, and of course it's the right thing to do, but they didn't drag it out. Immediately when they found that a client was ripped off,
Mm,
they made sure they got paid.
yeah.
They made sure they got paid, and
Yeah.
that's pretty cool that
Yeah.
they did that. Um, I One of the things too is, we were talking about the his best friend, the guy that known him for since he was in school with him, and this guy was in such disbelief. I mean, I think Alex Murdaugh had so many people fooled, but he took the $760,000 and somehow, you know, make the check to me, and then I'll transfer the check back to the account and all this. And then he says, I deposited it in for you. And the guy looks at the account and there's $190,000 missing. Okay. It devastated this guy.
Yeah.
It devastated him. And he said it wasn't the money. He put the extra money back in there and took care of it and took care of the client. But he said it was just the idea that they'd been friends all these years, and he did this to him.
Yeah.
So I think the man had the people closest to him and even his family fooled.
Yeah. He sure did. He had so many people love him. And I mean, he took it for granted, definitely. You know, his own best friend, like his brother, he used him up
Yeah, he used
for his money.
Randy. Mhm.
Yeah. Pretty
Yep.
sad.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that guy even started crying, you know?
You know, we talked about the video too,
Mm-hmm.
and three people were asked who three voices of people that are friends with us. One of them was Paul's best friend. Who are the voices on here? And you're welcome. Who are the voices on here? And all three of them said Maggie, Paul, and Alex. And they were asked, how sure are you? And every one of them said 100%.
Right.
And they all almost cried when they said that.
Yes.
You know, so it's
And you know, he has no care at all for any of these people. Nothing.
mm-mm,
There's nothing there, obviously.
no.
You can tell. It's all put on. It's all been put on
Yeah.
for show, you know?
You want to talk about that?
Which one?
You want to talk about the cult?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the caregiver of Murdaugh's mom, Alex Murdaugh, she was talking about Alex had came in. Um, what time was it? Like six? Was it
6:30 in the
6:30?
morning. I think.
6:30 in the morning, and he brought with him a big blue thing, which she thought it was a tarp. And anyways, that tarp ended up being a big giant, what was it, like a suit? It was like a full suit, and it looked like a tarp.
Can I answer something?
Go ahead.
Yes, Alex, his mother is still living.
Yeah. Um, brought in that tarp looking thing, and it ended up being a full suit, and it was made out of what is that
It's made
material?
of vinyl.
Yeah, it's made out of vinyl, kind of like a tarp.
Yeah, it's a big rain jacket. Is what it
Mhm.
is, I guess.
Well, he brought it upstairs and he put it on a chair or something. He put it somewhere and he left it there. Well, what I was thinking is, you know, since he brought that up there and put it down and left, I think that possibly he used that because they found what's it called?
Gun residue.
Gun residue all over the inside of it, right? I think what he did was he wrapped up a gun, wrapped it up, wrapped the gun up, and he had used that to pull the trigger on his wife and his son. I think he wrapped it up and shot him with it wrapped up, the gun wrapped up in that. And then he took that to his mom's house to hide it because they only found the gunshot residue inside. Why would they find it just inside? I mean, that makes no sense other than him wrapping the gun up, right? And that's the thing too. If he's coming towards you with a gun, it's going to be more apparent. Now, if he wraps it up, it's going to be less apparent, right? So that's what I'm thinking happened because there's all kinds of gunshot residue inside of it. There was like, I think the lady testifying said there was like 30 something gunshot residue spots. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm pretty sure that's what he did. I don't know.
What do you think? What do you What do you think he had up his sleeve, though? What was his next move if it hadn't been for the murders and stuff? You know, he'd embezzled all this money. He has this doesn't include the murder charges. There's 99 indictments against him for stealing
Mm-hmm.
people's money. Do you think he had a plan? Was he going to disappear? What was he going to do?
Yeah, I really think with all that money, it's probably, I mean, that much money, you would think that it would be somewhere, right? You can't spend that kind of money. Can you spend that kind of money?
I don't know. You spend $16 million.
I mean, look at the amounts. There's no way he could spend that kind of money. So more than likely he's got it in an account somewhere, right? So more than likely he's going to take off to where his money is because obviously that's what he thinks about his money, right?
Mhm. What does Buster know? You think Buster knows anything?
Possibility. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know. Invested.
I wonder if this case will be televised. Well, it's live on Crime and Law
Yeah.
on YouTube every day.
There's a problem with that though, because they're always intervening
Yeah.
and they are always talking. And
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get to watch much of it. The best thing to do is come online and watch it.
Something I just thought of too.
Financial. Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, the
Yeah.
financial cases. I don't know. That might be interesting. It's as many people there's vested in watching this and intrigued by this crazy story. It's very possible that it might be
Yeah.
on YouTube. Something I want to bring up is John Marvin, who is Alex's brother, is in court every day. Okay. Randy, who is Alex's brother, Randy Murdaugh, was a partner in the firm. Okay. When they first discovered that the embezzlement, the fake account with Bank of America, they went to Randy and said, Randy, look what we found. And he said, we got to do something now. We got to do it now. He's been stealing from us. Randy has not been in court. I wonder, what his thought process is.
I believe the reason he's not in court is because he's so disappointed and hurt.
Yeah, humiliated.
Humiliated. Wouldn't you be humiliated if your brother did something like this?
But Randy was just, I don't know, it was on 2020 or something that we watched, and Randy and John Marvin both were on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was prior to them finding out the depth of the financial stuff. They were both just gun ho, for Alex.
Yeah. But they didn't know everything though, did they?
Right. No. And I think his brother's probably embarrassed.
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. It's a wild case.
It is. It's crazy.
Yep. And I think Murdoch is Alex. I think he's I don't even know what to call it.
Stick a fork in it.
Yes, exactly.
Well, and the things
His goose is cooked.
Yeah. But in a court of law, you don't have to prove motive. You have to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you think that maybe the prosecution, it might be a little overkill with the financial stuff, when it doesn't have direct evidence to the murders?
Right. I agree.
And I just said the other night, we talked about it tonight too, that, he's a creep.
Yeah.
He's a thief.
They've not proven that he's a murderer yet, though.
They haven't really proven it.
No.
But the two things you cannot. Well, that's possible. That's possible. I think John, Marvin, and Buster are very supportive, but the rest of the family, no, I don't think so. But the two things that you can't, that I don't see how the defense can explain away is the Snapchat,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's his voice, and then the raincoat.
Right.
And that's going to be hard to overcome.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Exactly.
very interesting.
Yeah.
But the judge allowing the finances in there, that's not good. Because people that, those jurors are like you and I, they're only human. And those
Mm-hmm.
people might think, yeah, this scumbag did this to poor, innocent people.
Mm-hmm.
What else is he capable of?
Right. Right. I don't know.
All eyes be glued. The case already went longer than they thought it would, and the defense hasn't even called their first witness.
Right. It's been what, 3 weeks now, I think.
4.
4 weeks. Yep. And they thought it was going to be a 3-week case.
Mhm.
Not 3-week case. 3 weeks for
3 or
the
4 weeks trial.
trial. Yep. It's going to be going on for a long time.
It sure is. And there's going to be more come out, and it just it's interesting. It's we still got a case of a missing gun,
Yep.
which was
Not a missing gun, 2. They never found either one.
well, no, I'm talking about the well, actually 2, but we're talking about 2 different things.
Okay.
Paul supposedly lost a gun.
Okay.
Okay. And then Alec had another one made for him. And from what I understand, 3 guns were exactly the same. Okay. Which was the same type of gun that was used to kill Paul. 2 of those guns aren't accounted for. Only one, and the one gun that's accounted for is Buster's gun, which is not the murder weapon.
Hmm.
So
Are you saying 3 guns are missing?
2.
2 guns.
2
Okay.
guns. Yeah. Well, they, supposedly Paul misplaced one or was stolen.
Okay.
And then Alex had another one made for him. Well, neither one of those guns, the one that came up missing and then the one with the replacement gun,
That's weird.
they're gone. But yet Buster's is there. But Buster's gun was entered in evidence, but it's not the murder weapon.
See, that doesn't make sense how they're putting guns in evidence and they have nothing to do with I mean, they haven't been used.
No.
They were never used.
No.
Why would they put in guns that aren't evidence?
Where'd the guns go that were used in the murder?
That makes no sense. Well, the guns.
We know where they went, don't we? Or we think we know.
Yep. The guns went probably over at the mother's house where the caregiver is, in the woods back there somewhere. They're back there somewhere.
And the reason for that, we think that,
because the testimony of the caregiver.
And he went.
He used the ATV.
He tried to and had a flat tire.
Had a flat
So
tire.
then he jumps in his dad's truck
Mm-hmm.
and goes out there, comes back, gets in his truck, and leaves.
Yep.
Goes out in the woods. What did he go in the woods for?
Yeah. And then from there, he brings back the big bodysuit, right?
Mhm.
Leaves that upstairs. So, in the woods somewhere, on the property somewhere, unless he moved them, which I think they're probably more than likely still out there.
But
he hid them out there somewhere.
And again, to repeat,
because what would he be doing out there, right?
Again, to repeat stuff too, because you and I and millions of other people are going, how could you do this?
Mm-hmm.
How could you blow your son's head off?
Mm-hmm.
How could you shoot your wife 5 times in the head? Allegedly he did. We don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been convicted. But as we talked about before, I don't think Alec Murdaugh knows that kind of love that you or I have for our family. We can't fathom doing something like that.
Mm-mm.
But it's proven to me, not guilt of murder,
right?
But it's proven to me that this money is more important to this man than anything,
Mm-hmm.
including his family.
Yep, that's right. Because look what he did. And one of the reasons I believe he did it too was because he was angry. He was angry because of the boat wreck. He was going to have to shell out a bunch of money for Paul, right?
Yes, and there was going to be a court hearing 3 days. On the 10th of June, there was going to be a court hearing where they could force Alex to disclose his finances. 3 days.
Hmm. So that would be another motive right there.
And then Maggie looking into the finances, trying to
Yeah.
figure out what was going on. So,
Yep. So there's a few different things that could have led him, you know, but it all boils down to finances, money. He's trying to hide it.
and we don't understand that motive.
No, we don't.
Maybe maybe the prosecution's smarter than we give them credit for.
Yeah.
You know,
But they've not proven murder yet.
no,
Not yet.
but they have proven motive.
Right.
You know, and they'll probably prove more in motive. And tomorrow's gonna be an interesting day.
Oh, yeah. Are you watching it tomorrow? Are you as excited to watch it as we are? Mm, yeah. Okay, guys. Well,
She said yes.
oh yes, I know, I know, I know.
Well, we'll try to come
So,
back tomorrow.
yeah, let's come back tomorrow and we'll talk about it. And thank you. Thank you for being here and watching.
Tell all your family and friends to come on and join us. We like to have other people's opinions and theories and
yeah,
see what people are thinking.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun to just talk about it, you know. I mean, we talk about it while we're watching it. And you know another thing too is we watch it just about all day when it's on.
Or listen to it.
Yeah, listen to it or watch it. Yeah. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said watch it because I try to avoid that channel because they talk so much. I listen to it on the internet.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Okay, guys, come back tomorrow. We'll be on tomorrow.
Have a good night.
Mwah.